Hey y'all, welcome back to Correctional Junkie. I'm your host, Nurse B, and this is episode 33. And today, we're talking about one of the hardest lessons you'll ever learn behind those walls. Boundaries save lives. In corrections, boundaries aren't just emotional walls, they're survival lines. They protect your sanity, your integrity, and sometimes your life. Now, whether you're a nurse, an officer, or any staff member, the moment you walk inside, you're tested. Everyone wants a piece of you, your time, your energy, your patience. But the truth is, you can't pour into chaos if your own cup is cracked. Let's be real. Boundaries are misunderstood in corrections. Some people call them walls, but that's not true. A boundary doesn't shut people out. It teaches them how to treat you. Boundaries define where your responsibilities end and another's begins. In correction environments, blurred boundaries lead to manipulation, burnout, and more distress. Boundaries aren't about control, y'all. They're about clarity. So when an inmate says, "You're the only one I can talk to," and you start staying late, bending rules, or feeling responsible for their emotions, that is not compassion. That's entanglement. Did you hear me? Shall I repeat it? When an inmate says, "You're the only one I can talk to," and you start staying late, bending rules, or feeling responsible for their emotions, that is not compassion. That's entanglement. So, ask yourself, who am I trying to save at the cost of myself? Let's talk about what happens when your boundaries start to slip. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts small. A favor here, a skip lunch there, saying yes when you meant no. Before you know it, you're running on fumes and resentment. Real world consequences, y'all, is emotional burnout equals compassion, turns to irritation, role confusion, trying to fix everyone, or better yet, increased vulnerability to manipulation, gossip, or just plain on poor decisions. Boundaries aren't selfish. Burnout is. Burnout is. So you ask, well, how do we build boundaries that protect without isolating? Well, that's a great question. I'm going to give you the 3 R's of boundary setting. The first R is recognize. Notice when you feel drained, irritated, or used. That's your first boundary alarm. Then you want to reinforce. You want to clearly communicate your limits, such as, I can help during my shift, not after hours. And then finally, recharge. So after enforcing the boundary, y'all, give yourself some grace. You're retraining old habits. Such as, when I started saying no, I can't stay an extra hour. I felt guilty, but later I realized I was teaching people how to respect my limits. Now, I'm not saying that, even though you say that everybody gonna respect your limits. No, people they're gonna keep trying you until they eventually get that you don't budge. When you say no, you mean no. Boundaries are love with structure, right? You teach your children boundaries, but you should be anyway. So, boundaries aren't just about what you say, They're also about what energy you allow in. Some of you are carrying emotional weight that isn't even yours. So you need to use like protective practices, like the grounding breathing before entering your post. Taking a deep breath, right? Visualization. Imagine a clear light around you, filtering negativity. Like just bouncing off of you. And then, of course, you need a quick reset phrase, something that you can say when everything starts to come at you. This energy is not mine to carry. This energy is not mine to carry. This energy is not mine to carry. I would say it like 3 times, just so that it resonates with you. Because you're not cold for protecting your peace. You're wise for preserving it. Because there will always be people, inmates, coworkers, supervisors who test your boundaries. So you just have to remember how you respond teaches them how to treat you next time. I want you to stay calm and consistent. Don't explain too much. Over-explaining invites debate. Reinforce with professionalism. Not apologize. Like you can say, I understand where you're coming from, but that's outside my role. Or I can't do that, but I'll make sure it's documented. Don't over-explain it. Say what it is. Reinforce it with a no apology, and walk away. But the main thing on top of all of that, stay calm and consistent. You have to be those 2 things. Boundaries aren't about being tough. They're about being true. And every time you set one, you're saying, I respect myself enough to not break myself for this system. Because we see it every day, people breaking themselves for the system, right? You see it. It's all around you. Just stop and pay attention. You have to learn sometimes to be, in corrections, you have to be very observant of others. And when you are very observant of others, you see boundaries getting crossed on a daily basis. Favors being done, rules being bent for this person versus these people. And you have to sit and ask yourself, what in the world is going on? So I would ask you, where in your work or personal life do you need to reinforce a boundary this week? And what guilt do you need to release for protecting yourself? Because setting boundaries is real, because people are testing you on a daily basis is real. So this has been Correction Junkie with Nurse B. Remember, healing behind the walls start within. Protect your peace. Protect your purpose. Never apologize for boundaries that keep you whole. So wherever you choose to listen, YouTube, Spotify, or iHeart, subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel and keep listening for more tips on corrections. Because you got this. You got this. You just got to maintain and take it all in and follow through. That's it, to follow through.